Cancer is a tough battle, and there are so many losses that come with it. For me, perhaps the biggest loss was that loss of purpose. I love my work. I was one of those folks that would wake up early every morning just raving to go, to work and start the day. And all of a sudden with cancer, there was no place to go. And I just found that incredibly difficult to deal with. There was a loss of identity. All of a sudden I saw myself as a cancer patient. I saw myself as a number, sometimes as a victim. And it just wasn't a fun place to be at all. I remember one time when, through the process, I lost my hair and I lost my eyebrows. And I just woken up from bed and I went to the mirror, to brushing my teeth. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I went, ah! I just screamed so loud because I could not recognize the person that was looking right back at me. I looked like a complete and absolute freak. And I remember just running back to bed and just crying for the rest of the day. So the loss of identity was a really tough one. Then there was the loss of physical independence. I've always been a really independent person. And all of a sudden I needed help with, the littlest things. I needed help with climbing the stairs. For the longest time, I needed help with taking a bath. I needed help, and I still need help when I'm sitting down to stand up. The chemo really does do its number, and it made me very, very weak. Then there was a loss of financial independence, which really had an impact on me. I was used to making good money and spending money, and all of a sudden, I suddenly had to think about every purchase that I was making because suddenly there was no money coming in. And I think the other thing that I found really difficult is there was a loss of self-confidence. I found that I was always sort of slumped, and I just felt, less than, and I felt not good enough, and it really took a beating, my self-confidence. And through that time, I was also going through a whole bunch of different stages of grief. I went from being completely in denial. I refused to accept that I had cancer. I was emotionally numb. Then I went through this period of being so angry. I was just so angry and irritable and didn't want to be around anybody. Then I went through this stage of being quite depressed and wanting to withdraw and feeling really isolated, And then it was really interesting. I came to a place of acceptance, and my acceptance did not come from writing, long journals or sitting in quiet contemplation. It happened really when Carlos came home to clean the vents in the house. Carlos is a friend of mine, and when he was cleaning the vents, I was in my room just sobbing my little heart out. And Carlos came to see if I was okay. And for 4 hours we talked. We talked about God, and we talked about faith, and we talked about life, and we talked about movies, and we talked about purpose, and we talked about a whole bunch of stuff. And to be really honest, I still don't remember to today what it is that he said. But he said something that just got me to a place where when he left our home, I felt such a peace, such a sense of peace, such a sense of acceptance. And it was right there in that moment that I just made this decision that I wasn't just going to accept cancer. I was going to embrace it, and I was going to have fun with it, and I was going to enjoy it as much as it was possible. And I remember taking this little journal of mine and writing down and making a list of all the things that I wanted to accomplish in life that I never really had time to do. I took that year and I just started to do all of the things that I wanted to do. And it was the weirdest thing, but What I can say now is that cancer gave my life a whole new beginning.